what are the main types of drip irrigation system and what are their pros and cons? There's three main types of drip irrigation system. Firstly, we have drip line. Now, this is like a hose. Inside the hose we have drip emitters which emit the water, and these are spaced throughout the hose and they're integrated within that hose and piping system. This makes them very, very tough and robust, and they're also highly accurate, these emitters. They're also relatively flexible, so you can bend them around and get them to go where they need to go, and you can have all sorts of features on them, like pressure compensating ones that will give the same flow rate at different pressures, and you can have integrated check valves in there, which is useful in a variety of different situations. These are the ones we tend to prefer, particularly for larger installations. Next we have drippers. Now these are drippers that you push into a hose. You can put them on micro tubing as well, so to move them away from the main hose line to get them to go exactly where they need to go. And these are the most flexible in terms of the way you can distribute them. So you can get these emitters to go precisely where you want them to go. These are particularly useful when you've got plants that are very, very spaced out or unevenly spaced out, and you want to get that kind of customizability of your drip irrigation system. For plants in pots, they're particularly useful as well. Downside of these is just they're quite delicate. So if you're using microtubing to get them to go to exactly the part of the garden where the plant is, that's quite delicate. The drip emitters themselves can be knocked out quite easily, and so they're not as robust as drip lines. And finally we have drip tape. Now this is quite similar to drip lines in that we have the emitters, the drip emitters, integrated within the tape, but it's within a tape rather than within a hose or a pipe. So they're a little less robust than drip lines, but they have the big advantage of being cheaper and easier to install. You don't get some advanced features like pressure compensation, and they only really work in straight lines. So they're only really suitable for things like vegetable patches where you've got rows of plants growing. And they also work at very, very low pressures. So they'll run at 0.7 bar. So you're going to need a pressure regulator with there if you're running it off mains pressure. But with that, you could also run them off a gravity-fed water system that runs at very, very low pressures. So those are the three main types of drip irrigation system and the pros and cons of each.